Hello and welcome to Mr. Davis's classroom. This is Algebra 1. Today we are on lesson 7.2 part 2. We covered 7.2 part 1 already. Today we're going to do the second part of our objective, which is to compare and order numbers using scientific notation. So let's get started. Problem 4 wants us to compare numbers in scientific notation, right? So we have a globe here, and it shows the 4 major oceans and their surface areas. And we want to order these oceans from the least to the greatest surface area. When comparing size in scientific notation, so we're comparing size, the most important part is the exponent. Okay? The exponent is the most important part. It tells you the most about the size of whatever we're talking about. If the exponents happen to be the same and you need a different or another way to compare the numbers, the a value comes next. So we only look at the a value if the exponents are the same. So let's come back up here and let's look at the oceans, right? So we have, for exponents, right, we want to check exponents first. So we have 7 for Indian Ocean, 7 for Arctic Ocean, 8 for Atlantic, 8 for Pacific. Well, that automatically tells me that these first 2 that we talked about are the 2 smaller ones, and the other 2 are the 2 bigger ones. Now we just have to compare them more to get the complete order out. And we do that with the a value. So when looking at these 2, that both have the same exponent of 7, we need to compare the a value. The a value here is 7.49, and the a value here is 1.14, which tells me the Arctic Ocean is the least. And the Arctic Ocean is smaller than the Indian. There we go. Now we just need to order the 2 larger oceans, right? So these 2 here have the same exponent of 8. So if we look at the a value, we have 1.06 and 1.8, which tells us that the Atlantic is slightly smaller than the Pacific. And that's ordered from least to largest. All right, here I want you to order the elements of an atom from least to greatest. All right, now, here we want to use scientific notation to order these numbers. Well, it says, what is the order of, and it gives us some numbers from least to greatest. Well, these are going to be pretty tough to compare right now because the only one in scientific notation is that one right there. This one and this one, the a values are messed up, and this one here is in standard form. Okay, so let's try to fix all of these. Okay, so let's start off with this one here. Okay, that first one there. Right now it's 49.7, right, times 10. Well, they didn't move the decimal place the correct amount of times. Okay, if we take this one and we try to write it back in standard form, this is 10 to the first power, which is a positive, so we want to make this number bigger, which means that we would move it that way. But we don't want to put it back in standard form. We want to use scientific notation. So if going to the right means 1, if we go to the left, that's going to mean 1 more times 10 to the second power. All right, good. Number 2 is currently already in scientific notation. Number 3, well, we need to move that decimal places 2 spaces to the right to make it 4.7. Now we just need to decide, well, how does that change my exponent? Well, if I'm moving it to the right, I'm getting rid of some of those exponents, right? If I'm moving it to the right, these exponents are going to be getting closer to 0, which is going to give me to the 7th power because I moved it twice. And last is 495 for in scientific notation. Well, that's going to be 4.95 times 10 to the second power. We moved the decimal place twice. So kind of a similar situation that happens here because of the top and the bottom both have a 2 as my exponent, and the middle two both have a 7 as exponent. So we just need to order them based on a values after that. Well, it looks like the bottom one is the least. All right. And then the second. Okay. And then if I look at the two top ones, they both have the same exponents. But the a values are different. This a value here is a little bit smaller, so that means that's my second largest. And the third one is my largest. And that's how we order them with scientific notation. All right, here I want you to order these ones in scientific notation. If you need help, refer to your notes or the previous problem. And here's your homework assignment. Thank you for visiting Mr. Davis's classroom.